First Samuel chapters 8, 9, and 10. I'm in awe of a mother's prayer, and I'm thinking of Hannah. Welcome back to another episode of Papa John's Scripture Notes. Just a few episodes ago, we witnessed the power of a mother's prayer as she prayed to God for a son and promised God, if you gift me a son, I will gift him back to you. And she does. And God honors her prayer. And then he grows up in the shadow of Eli and his boys in the tabernacle of God, which is remarkable. He saw the wickedness of Eli's boys. He witnessed that firsthand, yet he chose to be faithful. God spoke to him at a young age, and Samuel is the light at this time in Papa John's mind. He is the light to ancient Israel. Everything else seems to be falling apart. Chapter 8, verse 1, and it came to pass when Samuel was old that he made his sons judges over Israel. We call him Samuel. In Hebrew, it would be Shmuel. Aren't you glad we call him Samuel? Verse 2, now the name of his firstborn was Joel, or Yoel, and the name of the second was Abiah, or Aviah. They were judges in Beersheba. And his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after lucre and took bribes and perverted judgment. Are you kidding me? Deja vu, right? Here we have, it's like Samuel has become Eli, and his boys have become the wicked sons of Eli. Verse 4, then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel unto Ramah, and said unto him, behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations. Now we knew that Samuel was the transition judge. He was the last judge in the book of Judges, or the era of Judges, and now we're headed into the era of kings. And he's a prophet of God, straddling both of that. Like the change. He's straddling the era of Judges as they head into the era of kings. But this isn't good news for Samuel. We're going to repeat. Deep Made Simple is just going to rehearse what we just read in a little more modern English. Then all the elders of Israel gathered together and gave to Samuel at Ramah and said to him, look, you are old, and your sons do not walk in your ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations. And there it is. Samuel's own sons, Yoel and Aviah, had become corrupt judges. But his sons did not walk in his ways. They turned aside after dishonest gain, took bribes, and perverted justice. This is deja vu, right? It's just the next generation's turn to almost get it right, I suppose, much like ours. The man who had grown up watching Eli, failing to restrain his sons, now watched his own sons following the same path. The cycle repeated itself in the next generation. In his own house, the people demand for a king, and this cuts Samuel deeply. Verse 6, but the thing displeased Samuel when they said, give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed unto the Lord. Actually, no, we've restored the name. Who did he pray to? He prayed to Yehovah. And Deep Made Simple is just going to repeat in more modern, easy to understand English. But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, give us a king to judge us. So Samuel prayed to Yehovah. And God's answer is stunning. Here we go, verse 7. And Yehovah said unto Samuel, hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee. Okay? For they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, and that I should not reign over them. So God is telling Samuel, it's not you, it's me. Let's repeat all this in more modern English. And Yehovah said to Samuel, heed the voice of the people. Before it said hearken. Heed the voice of the people in all that they say to you, for they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. They haven't rejected you, Samuel. They've rejected me, says God. God takes the sting out of the personal insult and redirects it. This isn't Samuel's failure as a leader. This is about the people's failure to trust their God. And that distinction matters because Samuel could have carried that rejection for the rest of his life. But instead, God told him where the rejection actually landed, not on Samuel, but on God himself. Samuel then warns them. He lays out in verses 11 to 18 exactly what a king will do. You want a king? Okay, this is what it's going to be like. Verse 8. According to all the works which they have done since the day that I brought them out of Egypt, even unto this day, wherewith they have forsaken me and served other Elohims, so do they also unto thee. So God is speaking, and he's just laying it out. Now therefore, hearken unto their voice. Samuel is who's being addressed by God. Howbeit yet protest solemnly unto them, and show them the manner of the king that shall reign over them. And Samuel told all the words of Jehovah unto the people that asked of him a king. And he said, This will be the manner of the king that shall reign over you. He shall take your sons and appoint them for himself, for his chariots, and to be his horsemen, and some shall run before his chariots. And he will appoint him captains over thousands and captains over fifties, and he will set them to ear his ground, and to reap his harvest, and to make his instruments of war, and instruments of his chariots. And it doesn't end there. He will take your daughters to be confectionaries, and to be cooks, and to be bakers. And he will take your fields, and your vineyards, and your olive yards, even the best of them, and give them to his servants. And he will take the tenth of your seed and of your vineyards, and give to his officers and to his servants. And he will take your men servants and your maidservants and your goodliest young men and your asses, and put them to his work. He will take the tenth of your sheep, and ye shall be his servants. And ye shall cry out in that day, because your king, which ye shall have, that ye shall have chosen, you, Old English is so cumbersome sometimes, and Yehovah will not hear you in that day. Let's clean this up with a little more modern English. He'll take your sons for his armies. He'll take your daughters to his kitchen. He'll take the best of your fields and your vineyards. He'll take a tenth of your grain and your flocks, and you will cry out in that day because of your king, whom you have chosen for yourselves. And Yehovah will not hear you in that day. And they didn't listen. Verse 19 makes that clear. Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel, and they said, Nay, but we will have a king over us, that we also may be like all the nations, and that our king may judge us and go out before us and fight our battles. I don't think they understand the role of a king based on just that one verse. 21, and Samuel heard all the words of the people and rehearsed them in the ears of Jehovah. And Jehovah said to Samuel, Hearken unto their voice, and make them a king. And Samuel said unto the men of Israel, Go ye every man unto his city. A quick review. Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel, and they said, No, but we will have a king over us. So God told Samuel to give them one, and this is where Samuel becomes the kingmaker. He anoints two kings, and the contrast between them is one of the most important lessons in the entire Old Testament. The first king is Saul, a tall, impressive man from the tribe of Benjamin. He came to Samuel looking for lost donkeys. He wasn't looking for a throne, he was looking for livestock. And God told Samuel the day before Samuel arrived, God told Samuel the day before Saul arrived that he was going to be visiting him. And just for kicks, look at this. This artwork makes me smile. Right now, all across America, they're having no kings protests. Make Israel great again. King first, give us a king. Well, we want no king, is the accusation in these protests. Yet it seems like the spirit of the protest is the same. We just don't want God to be our king. And we don't want you to enforce laws based upon God's laws. Kind of silly. I couldn't help myself. Chapter 9 of 1 Samuel. Now therefore was a man of Benjamin, and in Hebrew that's Benjamin, whose name was Kish or Kesh, the son of Abiel or Aviel, the son of Zeror, the son of Bechorat, the son of Ephah, a Benjamite, a mighty man of power. And he had a son whose name was Saul, in Hebrew Shaul, a choice young man, and goodly. And there was not among the children of Israel a goodlier person than he. For his shoulders and upward he was higher than any of the people. I've heard it described to me. In fact, I think this is my footnote here. Papa John says we've just been introduced to a wealthy Benjamite named Kish or Kesh and his son Shaul. Saul is physically striking, head and shoulders taller than anyone else in Israel, exceptionally handsome. He perfectly fits the human standard and definition of what a king should look like. And imagine this, when it says head and shoulders taller than anyone else, King Saul, soon to be King Saul, Shaul, can stand up straight in a crowd, put his hands out straight, and turn in a circle, and his arms would not hit anybody in the head. He is that much taller than everyone around him. What an impressive, obvious choice from man's viewpoint of the perfect specimen of a man to be the king. Well, let's continue reading. Verse 3 And the asses of Kish, Shaul's father, were lost. And Kish said to Shaul, his son, Take now one of the servants with thee, and arise, go seek the asses. And he passed through the mount of Ephraim, and passed through the land of Shalishah, but they found them not. Then they passed through the land of Sha'alim, and there they were not. And he passed through the land of the Benjamites, but they found them not. And when they were come to the land of Zoph, Shaul said to his servant that was with him, Come, and let us return, lest my father leave caring for the asses and take thought for us. So let's just review. When Kesh's donkeys wandered off, Saul and the servant were sent to find them. After an exhaustive and fruitless search across several regions, a weary Saul suggests they give up and head home so his father doesn't start worrying about them uh, instead of worrying about the animals. So his father's worried about the animals, but at a certain point he'll be more worried about his son. Verse 6 And he said unto him, Behold, now, the servant says, there is this city, a man of Elohim, and he is an honorable man. All that he saith cometh surely to pass. Now let us go thither, peradventure he can show us our way that we should go. Then said Shaul to his servant, But behold, if we go, what shall we bring the man? For the bread is spent in our vessels, and there is not a present to bring a man of Elohim. What have we? And the servant answered Shaul again and said, Behold, I have here at a hand the fourth part of a shekel of silver that I will give to the man of Elohim to tell us our way. Verse 9 Before time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of Elohim, thus he spake, Come and let us go to the seer. For he that now called the prophet has before time called the seer. So this has kind of given us some of the etiquette of the day, a little bit of a history lesson on why it's important to bring a gift. And I feel like they split verses 8 and 9 in the mid-sentence, which unfortunately is not that uncommon. Sometimes you'll find that throughout the scriptures. In fact, when you compare the Hebrew Bibles, oftentimes verse 1 in our chapters was the last verse in the previous chapter. It's kind of sloppy. Verse 10 Then said Shaul to his servant, Well said, come, let us go. So they went into the city where the God of Elohim was. A quick review, the servant mentions that they are passing through the hometown of a highly respected man of God, a prophet or seer. He suggests they ask this prophet for directions to find the donkeys. Saul agrees, though he is initially concerned that they don't have a proper gift to offer the man of God. And as they went up the hill to the city, they found young maidens going out to draw water, and said to them, Is the seer here? And they answered them and said, Behold, he is before you. Make haste now, for he came to the city today to the city, for there is a sacrifice of the people today in the high place. And as soon as ye be come into the city, ye shall straightway find him, before he go up to the high place to eat. For the people will not eat until he come, because he doth bless the sacrifice, and afterwards they eat that be bidden. Now therefore get you up, for about this time ye shall find him. So talk about good timing, right? Verse 14, and they went up into the city, and when they were come into the city, behold, Samuel, Shmuel came out against them for to go to the high place. Quick review, as the young men enter the town, they ask local girls fetching water for directions. The girls tell them the prophet is currently heading to a high place, which is basically a local altar or slash shrine to bless and sacrificial feast, and they can catch him just before he begins. So verse 15, now Jehovah has told Samuel in his ear a day before. Saul came, saying, tomorrow about this time I will send thee a man out of the land of Benjamin, Benjamin, and they shall anoint him to be captain over my people Israel, that he may save my people out of the hand of the Philistines. For I have looked upon my people, because their cry is come unto me. Quick review, tomorrow about this time I will send you a man from the land of Benjamin, and you shall anoint him commander over my people Israel. So Samuel anointed Saul privately, then presented him publicly. That's about to happen. The people will cheer, and they had their king, and for a while it works. But then Saul began making decisions based on what the people wanted rather than what God commanded. Why is it that the politician always wants to listen to the people more than God? Verse 17, and when Samuel saw Saul, and Jehovah said unto him, behold, the man whom I spake to thee of, this same shall reign over my people. So the narrative just flashed back to the previous day. God had secretly revealed to Samuel that he would send him a man from the tribe of Benjamin the following day to be anointed as the leader over Israel. And when Samuel first sees Saul, God confirms, this is the man I spoke to you about. And now we're going to read about the conversation they had. Then Saul drew near Samuel in the gate and said, tell me, I pray thee, where the seer's house is. And Samuel answered Saul and said, I am the seer. Go up before me into the high place, for ye shall eat with me today. So now he's part of those bidden, invited to be fed as part of the sacrifice. For ye shall eat with me today and tomorrow, and I will let thee go. And I will tell thee all that is in thine heart. And as for thine asses that were lost 3 days ago, set not thy mind on them, for they are found, and on whom all the desire of Israel. Is it not on thee and all thy father's house? So he's already starting to tell Saul what's going on in his head. He knows all of this having just met. Verse 21. And Saul answered him and said, am not I a Benjamite of the smallest of the tribes of Israel, and my family from the least of all the families of the tribe of Benjamin? Wherefore then speakest thou so to me? So I love Saul at this point in his life. He's admitting he's not proud. He's saying we're not even important in Benjamin's tribe. Remember in the book of Judges, most of them died after the civil war when the Levite priest cut up his concubine in pieces and had the pieces shipped all over. I mean, it's just a terrible, terrible story. Most of the Benjamites were wiped out, and yet I guess it's even affected the the communal mentality of being from that tribe. You can sense it in Saul's response. Quick review. So Saul approaches Samuel in the town at the gate to ask for direction to the seer's house. Samuel reveals himself as the seer, tells Saul the donkeys have already been found, and shocks him by hinting at his royal destiny. And Saul responds with humility and, humble confusion, noting he comes from Benjamin, the smallest tribe and the least important family in Israel. And Samuel took Saul and his servant and brought them into the parlor and made them sit in the chiefest place among them that were bidden, which were about 30 persons. And Samuel said unto the cook, bring the portion which I gave thee, of which I said unto thee, set it by thee. And the cook took up the shoulder and that which was upon it, and set it before Saul. And Samuel said, behold, that which is left, set it before thee and eat, for unto this time hath it been kept for thee, since I said, I have invited the people. So Saul did eat with Samuel that day. And basically, my review note is the same. I find it helpful, though, just for clarity and simplification of the Old English. Samuel takes Saul and his servants to the feast, seats them at the head of the table above or about 30 other guests. He's the VIP. He serves Saul a special reserved portion of meat that was set aside just for him. Verse 25, and when they were come down from the high place into the city, Samuel communed with Saul upon the top of the house. Papa John does not remember why I highlighted that in burnt orange. If I think of it, I'll share. Verse 26, and they arose early and it came to pass about the spring of the day that Samuel called Saul to the top of the house, saying, Up, that I may send thee away. And Saul arose, and they went both of them, he and Samuel, abroad. And as they were going down to the end of the city, Samuel said to Saul, Bid the servants pass on before us. And he passed on. But stand thee still a while, that I may show thee the word of Elohim. So following the feast, Samuel and Saul returned to the prophet's house. They spend the night, and early the next morning, Samuel calls to Saul on the roof, preparing to send him on his way. Before he leaves, Samuel instructs Saul to send his servant ahead so he can deliver a private divine message to Saul. And now, wow, that was the end of chapter 9, and we're already at chapter 10. Then Samuel took a vial of oil and poured it upon his head and kissed him and said, Is it not because Jehovah hath anointed thee to be captain over his inheritance? And what is God's inheritance? Oh, that's right, his firstborn, his precious treasure, his segula. They're jewels in his heart. He has an eye for his firstborn, which is Israel. That would include us who have been adopted in as part of Israel. I hope we understand that God looks at us as his inheritance. He loves us that much. Wow. Samuel takes a flask of oil, quick review here, pours it on Saul's head and kisses him. The ritual consecrates Saul as divinely appointed leader over God's people. When thou art departed from me today, then thou shalt find 2 men by Rachel's or Rachel's sepulchre in the border of Benjamin at Zethach. Wow. And they will say unto thee, The asses which thou wentest to seek are found, and lo, thy father hath left the care of the asses and sorroweth for you, saying, What shall I do for my son? So Saul was right. His dad's going to worry about his whereabouts. For such a big young man, so tall, you wonder why he's worried, right? But there's been so much death in the tribe of Benjamin, actually, that makes sense. I mean, the Civil War about wiped out the entire tribe of Benjamin. That was at the end of, I think, chapter 19 of the book of Judges. Verse 3, Then shalt thou go up on forward from thence, and thou shalt come to the plain of Tabor, or Tabor, and there shall meet thee 3 men going up to Elohim, to Baal, one carrying 3 kids, and another carrying 3 loaves of bread, and another carrying a bottle of wine. And they will salute thee, and give the 2 loaves of bread which thou shalt receive of their hands. After that thou shalt come to the hill of Elohim, where is the garrison of the Philistines. And it shall come to pass, when thou art come thither to the city, that thou shalt meet a company of prophets coming down from the high place with a satyr, a satyry, and a tufim, and a pipe and a harp before them, and they shall prophesy. And the Spirit of Jehovah will come upon thee, and thou shalt prophesy with them, and shalt be turned into another man. Wow. Quick review. Samuel gives Saul 3 specific prophecies to confirm that God is with him, meaning not only with Samuel, but with Saul. He will meet 2 men near Rachel's tomb who will tell him the lost donkeys have been found. Next, he will encounter 3 men going to Baal, who will offer him 2 loaves of bread. And thirdly, he will meet a group of prophets, and the Spirit of Jehovah will come upon him, causing him, Saul, to prophesy. Here we go. And let it be, when these signs are come upon thee, that thou do as occasion serve thee, for Elohim is with thee. and thou shalt go down before me to Gilgal. And behold, I will come down unto thee to offer burnt offerings and to sacrifices of peace offerings. 7 days shalt thou tarry till I come to thee and show thee what thou shalt do. So Samuel tells Saul to act wisely when these signs occur and instructs him to travel to Gilgal and wait 7 days to be joined by Samuel. Verse 9, and it was so that when he had turned his back to go from Samuel, Elohim gave him another heart. And all those signs came to pass that day. Wouldn't that be amazing to have a new heart? If you have ever experienced a hardened heart and you wished you could cry or feel emotion, be careful what you wish for. I'm getting so soft. I get teary-eyed and soft-hearted all the time. But God gave me a new heart. That was about 9 years ago last month. That happened in May of 2017. It's a wonderful thing to know God in such a way that your heart changes, and it's just like a total surrender. As Saul turns to leave, God changes his heart, fulfilling the prophecy, all those prophecies that day. And when they came thither to the hill, behold, a company of prophets met him, and the spirit of Elohim came upon him, and he prophesied among them. And it came to pass when all that knew him before time saw that, behold, he was prophesied among the prophets. Then the people said one to another, what is this that is come unto the children of Kish? Is Shaul also among the prophets? Saul is also among the prophets? And one of the same places and one of the same place answered and said, but who is their father? Therefore it became a proverb. Is Saul also among the prophets? Is Shaul also among the prophets? And when he had made an end of prophesying, he came to the high place. Quick review, Saul meets the prophets, begins to prophesy. The onlookers are shocked to see the son of Kish among the prophets. Leading the famous proverb, is Saul also among the prophets? There's the beginning of pride. I can see it already. He's going to love the attention. And Saul's uncle said unto him and to his servants, whither went ye? And he said, to seek the asses. And when we saw that they were nowhere, we came to Samuel. And Saul's uncle said, tell me, I pray thee, what Samuel said unto you. And Saul said unto his uncle, he told me plainly that the asses were found, but of the matter of the kingdom whereof Samuel spake, he told him not. So I love that. He's still got some humility and some common sense. He's level-headed. He knows when it's not appropriate to share sacred information. Saul returns home and speaks to his uncle. He tells him they found the donkeys, but noticeably conceals the news that Samuel has anointed him to be king. What a relief. And Samuel called the people together unto Jehovah to Mitzpeh. And he said unto the children of Israel, thus saith Jehovah, Elohim of Israel, I brought up Israel out of Egypt and delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of all the kingdoms and of them that oppressed you. And ye have this day rejected your Elohim, who himself saved you out of all your adversities and your tribulations, and ye have said unto him, nay, but set a king over us. Now, therefore, present yourselves before Jehovah by your tribes and by your thousands. All right, form in ranks. It's roll call. Samuel gathers the people of Israel at Mizpah and rebukes them by demanding a human king. The nation has essentially rejected God as their ultimate king. Verse 20, and when Samuel had caused all the tribes of Israel to come near, the tribe of Benjamin was taken. When he had caused the tribe of Benjamin to come near by their families, the family of Matri, or in English, Matri, in Hebrew, Matri, was taken. And Saul, or Shaul, the son of Kish, was taken. And when they sought him, he could not be found. Therefore they inquired of Jehovah further, if the man should yet come thither. And Jehovah answered, behold, he hath hid himself among the stuff. And they ran and fetched him thence. And when he stood among the people, he was higher than any of the people from his shoulders and upward. Remember what I just described? With his arms out straight. parallel, pointing east and west, north and basically horizontally. He could spin in a circle and not hit anyone in the face. This is a big man, his shoulders and upward, higher than all the other people. Verse 24, and Samuel said to all the people, see ye him whom Jehovah hath chosen, that there is none like him among all the people. And all the people shouted and said, Elohim, save the king. Oh my goodness, we're going British so fast. To prove Saul is God's choice, Samuel has the tribes cast lots. The lot eventually falls on Saul, and when the people look for him, he is nowhere to be found because he has hidden himself among the baggage. When brought out, he stands head and shoulders above the rest, and the people shout, long live the king. Now that makes so much more sense. When we read the verses, it was kind of confusing, be honest, to understand the plot and the storyline. Thankfully, with the help of scholars and such, we can piece it together and gain a little better understanding than what we just read on the surface. We have 3 more verses and we're done with this episode. Verse 25. Then Samuel told the people the manner of the kingdom and wrote it in a book and laid it up before Jehovah. And Samuel sent all the people away, every man to his house. And Shaul also went home to Gibeah, which is Giva, and there went with him a band of men whose hearts Elohim had touched. But the children of Belial, Belial said, how shall this man save us? And they despised him and brought him no presents, but he held his peace. Oh my goodness, it's already beginning. There's a division. The politics and the parties are about to form. Samuel explains the rights and duties of kingship. He'd written them on a scroll. Saul returns to Gibeah. While many support him, some scoundrels despise him and bring no gifts. But Saul wisely keeps his peace. Thankfully, we don't have the civil wars beginning yet. And unfortunately, he's been raised up to help them get rid of their enemy, the Philistines. But ultimately, that won't happen until the next king comes along. And we all know who he is, King David. Thanks again for joining me for this episode of Papa John's Scripture Notes. We're covering the ground fast. It's almost intentional. Sometimes I'm tired of the wars and the pride cycle, and no one seems willing to live God's holiness code. But I do love seeing the name of God restored as we read, and knowing when it's just a reference to God in general as the title of Elohim, or if it's his divine name with all the restored, 4 consonants, Yod, He, Vav, He, and the vowel markers, the Shiva, Cholam, and Kamatz. That's how it originally wrote. And when they wrote it, that's the way it was spoken. They would invoke the name. No one was afraid. There was no prohibition, no conspiracy of silence against the name back in those days. And I look forward to another episode soon. I'll talk to you then.